OffBeat Sports Podcast presented by Celsius.
It's been a tale of two seasons for the Boston Celtics.
I probably aged about 10 years just from that series.
I'd probably compare myself to just a younger, smarter, more handsome, stronger Michael Jordan.
Let's go Celtics. Go Patriots.
These are guys who, when you give them a bowl of Cheerios in the morning, they finish every last drop of milk.
Absolute clown over here.
I'm ready when you are, baby.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the OffBeat Sports Podcast, presented in our interview series called OffBeat University, where we interview Division I college athletes, both male and female, from many different sports to get the full perspective into the lives of our student athletes. Today, we're joined by Lauren Moran, member of the Stonehill College field hockey team. Thanks for joining us, Lauren.
Hi, thank you for having me. This is awesome.
So, how do you?
Yes. Okay.
Nice. So how do you feel about Stonehill step up to the Division I level from the NE10 to NEC?
I honestly feel great about it. I feel like we were pretty much dominating in a sense the NE10, and I feel like this step up to Division I was a pretty, I wouldn't say shocking, but it definitely, at least when I heard about it, it was kind of like, oh, we're doing research on it. And then like a month or two later, it was like, oh, we're actually going D1. And it kind of like, it all happened so fast compared to like Merrimack's. They were like, it didn't happen as fast as it happened for us. But I just think you don't just get handed a D1 program like every day. And so it's just insanely grateful to like be in the position that I am. And we now have a new coaching staff. So like, that's also like really exciting. So yeah.
So, I mean, obviously one of the hardest things to do as a, student athlete is you're tasked after getting out of high school, knowing your career, knowing what path you want to follow. You're tasked with figuring out where to go to do that. So in your whole cycle of recruitment, trying to figure out from school to school, place to place, sport to sport, what made you choose Stonehill?
The funny thing is I was kind of looking at like all different schools when I decided that I wanted to play in college. But when I first started looking, Stonehill was kind of exclusive in a sense, in that like the coach really didn't respond to you unless like it was 2 coaches ago. Her name was Susan Chufo, who I was recruited by. She was kind of exclusive in the way that like she wouldn't really reach out to you unless she like really wanted you. So I remember like in 9th grade being like, oh, like I want to go to Stonehill, but I have no idea like how that's possible. And then like flash forward like a year and a half later, I went to a tournament and I was just randomly emailing schools. I was looking at Fairfield and Sacred Heart. I didn't want to be in New York. I knew that for sure because I wanted a new experience. Yeah. And then randomly she ended up emailing me after the tournament and then wanted to meet me right away. And then, I mean, it sounds insanely cheesy, but like the minute I stepped on campus, I was like, this is the feeling I was looking for. I was like, okay, like I get it. Because everyone's like, oh, what's that feeling? But like I actually felt it when I got to Stonehill, and I was like, okay, this feels like a home away from home. I could totally be like comfortable here. Boston's like a train away. Like it just ticked all my boxes.
Yeah, almost like euphoric.
Yeah, euphoric in a sense. Yeah, it was, but it was just like, because every single school I went to, I was like, but this is missing. And I was like, yeah, I like it. It's okay. But it's like, when you're looking at a place you're going to live for the next 4 years, you don't want to just be like, okay.
And yeah, you need that. You need like that thing to reassure you that you're going to be like ready there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
So you mentioned like you didn't want to be in New York. So coming from New York to Massachusetts, like what was one of the glaring differences? Because I think we've debated this before between me, you, and Maddie. I think we've debated like pizza and all like who's better and
cheesesteaks. I don't know why you people call it a steak and cheese. So when I walked into our dining hall, like the first like weekish or so, on the menu it said steak.
It's a steak and cheese.
Yeah. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, that's like a steak and then like maybe like a cheese dipping sauce or like maybe something on the side. Then I walk in and I was like, oh my God, that's a cheesesteak. I was like, why do they call it a steak and cheese? So that's number 1. And then number 2, I don't know how many people call it, but like a shopping cart, people call it a carriage. That also, I don't get it. Especially my friends from New Hampshire, they call it a carriage. And I don't know where that comes from, but steak and cheese and cheesesteak is like the number 1 thing that I was like, oh, that's odd. But
Yeah, we get some weird phrases up here.
Yeah.
Right.
But, yeah.
We got that lingo.
Yeah, you have a Massachusetts lingo for sure. But I have not picked up Wicked. I've been here for almost 3 years now, and I can't pick up Wicked. I don't know why, but it's just not. I don't think
honestly, it's just second nature for me. I say Wicked so much, and I didn't
I-
even honestly
see,
did not even know
I'm out
until I
in-
got to college that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
right.
So I'm out in North Carolina, right? And I'm with a bunch of dudes across the world, and I'm sitting here, just it's part of my natural vocabulary. And every time I say it, I get, "Oh, what are you wicked smart? Oh, what are you park the car at Harvard Park?" I'm like,
Park
"Go
the car
fuck
and have
yourself, dude. Leave me alone. Leave
What
me
part of,
alone."
North
Park the
Carolina are
car
you
at Harvard. Yeah, I'm like, leave me alone.
You're in North
I'm
Carolina?
in Jacksonville right now.
Oh, I was born in Fayetteville, North
Yeah.
Carolina. So, yeah. It's like, oh.
Oh no, really?
Yeah, I was born in Fort Bragg.
No shit.
So you're a big Stonehill spirit person.
Yeah,
I feel like everyone.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone on campus knows who you are because you're always at games. Like you're always very into the Stonehill spirit. So like, what kind of like sparked that? Like you felt like you wanted to really get into that.
I think the one thing that sparked it was obviously the friends that I met in the SEM for like first semester. And honestly, I think it was like the year of not being able to go to a sports game or like anything. And so when I finally got the opportunity to go to like I remember it was the first game back from like COVID, it was a women's lacrosse game. And I remember I was like, I've don't really watch women's lacrosse before, but I was like, oh my God, I just want to go like that shit. And I was just like, yeah.
It was so built up that you just had to.
Exactly. And then I also like found out that I have a pretty loud like yelling voice. Apparently it can project. And so after that, me and my friends just like at games, we just have a competition to see who can yell louder. And it just like from that just spirals us like just going to games and just like going nuts. So yeah.
I love it.
Did you pick up on any similarities in that cross from that little explanation right there?
Harry was the same way in high school, and he actually got so bad that he wasn't allowed to go to any sports games in our senior year.
Really? Oh my God, crazy.
I got banned.
He was a little more
from
aggressive,
playing and attending all sports.
Yeah, he was a little more aggressive.
I definitely made people hate their lives a little bit. I made people angry that they had to be on the field.
Oh.
He almost got in a fight at a baseball game with a player.
That's so funny. I like. It's
I wasn't on the team. So.
Oh, you weren't?
No, he was a fan and almost got in a fight with a kid on the other team.
Awesome.
Oh my God.
Like, the love for like the love for like going to games and like being rowdy carried into when we went to a Fenway game last year, and we were in the outfield, and Jackie Bazzer Jr. was really close to me. And so I asked him a question for right hand or left hand, and he actually ended up doing it. And I was like, I lost my shit. I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious. But it's like stuff like that. It's like interacting with like the athletes too. I think it's so fun.
Yeah, you do it in a more positive way. Harry struggled with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wasn't the nicest person to encounter on the sidelines. But I made their day a little bit more interesting. I can't say that for sure. Now, I talked about my time on the sidelines, and you've talked about yours as well. But when you're actually out there on the field, what is your favorite thing about playing field hockey for Stonehill?
I don't think I've ever really experienced a tight-knit athletic community as Stonehill. I feel like it's like you walk past people and they're like, oh, you have a home game today, or like random people from random sports like know your schedule, know that you have a home game. And it's just like when you're on the field, you really feel that like Stonehill's behind you. Like you even see people like the athletic building behind us, like people work out and they like watch our games. It's like even people who aren't even on an athletic team, they're like watching our game. And it's like nice in a sense that they're like literally behind you watching you play like in the athletic building, but like you're on the field and like you really just feel like the whole community's behind you and like supporting you, whether you win, you lose. But yeah.
We do have a pretty cool setup with that.
We do. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So you said you're a little over halfway through your season now. So I know probably your record doesn't reflect how you guys have improved. So what were your expectations at the start of the season, and what are your goals to finish the season, I would say?
I think our expectations were pretty much like, let's just get through this together. Like we can't it's either gonna be like a really negative and like just tough season, or we're gonna look at this as like a positive. We're grateful that we're D1. We get to be together every day and get like work really hard and just like grow together. And I think our new coach coming in like set that precedent. Like the minute she got on campus, she was like, we're obviously not gonna win every game. And we're obviously it's gonna be a quite humbling experience going to D1. But she was like, as long as we're a tight knit family, we hold on to each other. I think that was like the main goal, and I think that's just carrying us into. I mean, now we've had 2 wins, which is awesome. We just had an overtime win like last Friday, which was sick. But yeah, I think it's just carrying that mentality of like getting each other through the next couple weeks and like empowering each other to like ride out our first Division 1 season, because you only get to do like your first D1 season once, and just carrying that like mentality all the way through is our goal.
Yeah. Would you say getting, like you said, the first, like would you
So
say
now that
like
you've started,
oh, okay, Harry, one sec. Would you say like getting those first was kind of your
I
first
interrupted.
goal?
I'm
Like,
sorry.
yeah, getting your first was like your first goal, where let's just get through the first goal, first win, like first assist, like stuff like that. Was that like one of your main looks at the start
Yeah,
of the season?
it was like when we first scrimmaged UMass Lowell, she was like, because UMass Lowell has a very good field hockey program, and it was our first time like playing against another team, and she was like, all right, let's just get through this. She was like, let's just play and like get through it. And then at the end, she was like, we did it. Like no one got hurt. Like, did we get humbled? Yes, but like we still had a smile on our faces knowing that like we just played our first D1 scrimmage. Like that's crazy. So yeah, we definitely had those goals, and like when we went and traveled to St. Louis, we were just so wanting to score our first D1 goal, and then our captain, Andrea Cardona, she scored it, which was an awesome thing. So it's like little things here and there that we're like checking off in the boxes, like first win, first goal, like first overtime, first shootout. Like I think we've pretty much checked a lot of those boxes off, but like obviously there's way more that we want to check off in the coming season. So.
as you should. I mean, going on, you can't just expect to be at the bottom of the barrel. You know, you got to take D1 Stonehill to the top, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's tough. We can't go to playoffs.
So,
you know.
So, yeah, but starting out at Stonehill, like you wouldn't start D1, you know. So, what is like this year specifically? What has been the biggest change when being a student athlete? Because now it's like the sports side of things kind of hits a little bit different when you got that big D1 title behind you. And I'm sure balancing that along the way with schoolwork has been a little difficult.
Yeah, I would be stupid to say that it's awesome and I get like I'm D1 and like academics are a breeze, but it's like it's definitely a learning curve. It has been. It's because we only have 4 home games this season. So we have like 10 or 11 away games. So it's like it's a lot of traveling and it's a lot of balance. In the beginning, it's kind of overwhelming. But thankfully now like I'm a junior and I'm getting more into like courses that I care about, and it's not like I'm taking like intro into like philosophy and I like don't really care. So it's like I don't know, I enjoy doing the work, and it's just staying on top of your stuff. That's like really all it is. I'm a major procrastinator, and so the bus rides really I don't know, they don't really allow you to do that because you're just sitting on the bus for like 6 hours and you're like, okay, I can nap for an hour and then like do work. So it's just finding that balance, but you know.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things in college athletics from the last couple years and right now even is the new NIL rules. What are your thoughts on this, and do you plan to take advantage of it at all, or?
I don't know. I've definitely thought about it. I think it's great because I follow a lot of athletes on TikTok, specifically like there's a runner, her name is Emily Cole, she runs at Duke. I really look up to her in a sense. She just wrote a book and now she's like making money off of her her name, and like other TikTok stars probably sit under Prince. She's like the biggest one that like really like monetized her name. I look up to them in a way because it's like, I don't know, for years they were being like used for their name and likeness, and so now I think it's like really cool that they get to make money off of TikToks and blogs and stuff like that. So I don't know. I thought about doing it, but we'll see. I don't know. Who knows?
All right, I'm gonna kick Harry real quick because he's super laggy.
Okay.
His roommate just left and he took his Wi-Fi with him, so he's setting up new Wi-Fi today, so it's all weird.
Damn.
But we're on to our last question, so it's not too bad. But who would you say has impacted you the most throughout your field hockey career, on and off the field?
That's a tough one. There are two that come to mind. I love my club program. I think like them in a sense, my club is kind of where I really cultivated my game, and I really learned to love it more than just like playing it for high school. Just my club coach is like at UAlbany, so that's where my club played. Like Phil Sykes is the head coach there, and then his wife also coaches our club team, and I now work for them in the summer. I work every day with them, and I've gotten just so insanely close with them, and they've really, I don't know, they care so much more about me than just like being an athlete, and it shows, and they've impacted me. They've given me so many opportunities. Like I've met Olympic players through them. I've gotten to train with some of them, which is just like an incredible opportunity. And I cannot thank them enough for like the player that they've made me. I wouldn't be the player that I am today without them. And then a girl who went to my high school, her name is Carrie Hanks. She played at Maryland, and then she is now on the national team. And her and I are pretty close, but honestly, like not super close. But I look up to her in so many ways. Like she's just an animal, and like everything that she's done, I don't know, just the way that I go about my game, or like if I'm stressed about something, I'll think like Carrie Hanks. Okay, did she get stressed about this, or like did she let it go, or like what would she be doing during preseason? What would she be doing in her off season? How would she be lifting? What would she think about this game? Like I've gotten closer with her in the past couple of years now that I'm older, and we can like actually have real conversations now. And I think she's just been a great resource to like lean on and like ask questions and look up to. So I would say those are like the two that really stick out to me. So.
Hey, two good answers, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
So that's all I got for you, and I thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it. Sorry, Harry had to
no, it's okay. I don't care.
Best of luck on the rest of your season. Yeah. Let's hope you guys have a nice little finish to the season and build off of it for next year.
Hopefully. But thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks everyone for watching and listening. Be sure to check us out on Instagram at @offbeat_sports and on TikTok at offbeatsports. Make sure you're on the lookout for the next installation of the OffBeat University series. Thanks for tuning in.